Maybe we should do intros at the end after we've had our second beer, and then we do like 3 or 4 sets of intros.
Yeah, I'm gonna go.
Welcome to Click Yak Boom.
Thanks for joining us today. We're going to talk about several things. First and foremost is we're going to talk about a lot about jargon today. There are a lot of terminologies in the marketing side and also on the graphic design side that everybody who are in those markets should know, but you won't always know them. So if you're a graphic designer, you may not know the marketing side, but it's good to know so that you can be credible.
No, it also is good are names. I'm Michael Lopez, graphic designer.
Ryan Fox.
Justin Hoerner.
So what's the first word we got?
All right, so the first one, these first couple are going to be kind of comparison terminology. So for instance, the first one we're going to go over is, this one actually has kind of a funny story, B2B versus B2C. And I had a phone interview one time. Well, the HR person was introducing themselves to me, and then they had asked me my background in B2B and B2C, and I had no idea.
B2B. Yes.
Bro. Yes. I'm really good at bro to bro. What up, bro?
Kind of my forte.
And I was trying to fumble around it and trying to get her to tell me what it was. She just wouldn't. And I'm like, okay, I'm not sure I know what that means. And she's just like, well, B2B is business to business, and B2C would be business to consumer.
And you were like, yeah, I knew that.
I was like, yeah.
I already know. Yeah.
Sorry,
business.
haven't used those terms before. And yeah, so that, needless to say, that particular interview went away very shortly after that.
You're not working there, are you?
No,
That's not here.
Definitely not.
So business to business is whenever a business is selling to a business, and then that's B2B, and then B2C is whenever a business is selling to a consumer. Like right. Nike sells to people that want to go and run, and then
you buy some shoes.
Yeah, there you go. So that's B2C to consumer.
And clearly the strategies are different. So when you're trying to appeal to corporations or even small businesses, the strategies are going to be way different than when you're trying to, they get more personal, right? So when you're dealing with a business to consumer, you're dealing with a lot of emotion. You want people to be able to see themselves using your product. How's it going to make their lives better? Things like that.
Well, business is all about the bottom line and numbers. So you're thinking about talking to CEO guys and stuff. So a little less emotion and selling to a business because they're more structured.
Right.
And a business also is always going to have some kind of personality though still. So I wouldn't say it's straightforward. It just depends on which business you're actually catering to.
Right. And then also when you're at a company,
everything pretty much, I guess.
When you're at a company, a lot of times you're going to have 2 aspects of your design. So, like for instance, at our job at Force, we have 2 parts to it. So we have part of our marketing that targets our clients. So how we touch base with them, how we show them what value we can bring to the table, and then we have another part where we're doing their B2C marketing for them, right? So we're creating their branding, their collateral. So that mindset is B2C, but when we're marketing, we are marketing to B2B when we're trying to, gain new clients and stuff like that. So, okay.
Cool. What's the next?
The next one is one it's like I get it confused all the time. I just interchange the words because they're about the same thing. So, kerning versus letting, right? And so kerning is it's the space between the letters, right?
Yeah.
I guess tracking is more specific to one letter. Yeah.
Kerning, letting, and tracking are the 3 things you're
Exactly. Yeah. So, and then your leading is your line spacing.
In
Right, so your
between. Well, I
space
guess,
in between.
but yeah, that makes sense now. Letting line. Bam. Easy way to tell the difference. Letting line. And how close, yeah.
Yeah, and then when you want to play with the tracking, it's more specific to individual letters as opposed to the whole paragraph, stuff like that.
See, I think I see a lot of letting, like wide letting now in like web design. Like web design is everywhere because everything on the computer starts getting jumbled up. It's like, say you're reading, like the old little romantic books your grandma used to read, and it's like this book, and there's like 3,000 words on a little page like this, and you're like, that letting is so squished because they want to fit so much information on the page.
Yeah.
But like on the web and a lot of things that you see now,
fluid,
it's
they have all the space they can do it. Yeah.
So the letting really is always like the line space in between.
It makes it easier to read.
Yes.
Definitely makes it easier to read.
Line height for you web developers out there.
All right, so our next versus term is, not so much terms, there's multiple terms in this one, but we want to talk about your file types versus whether something's vector or rasterized. So a vector object is, so Adobe has a algorithm that allows a shape. So for instance, if you have a circle, the algorithm allows it to scale into an infinite size and stay crisp, right?
And it works off of points essentially. So a circle would be 4 points, and they just connect. So it's connect the dots overall. That's how I think it's big connect the dots.
Right. So if you have a small logo per se, and it's vector, you could put that on a billboard, and it will stay perfectly clear. A rasterized image is like a JPEG or a PNG, where they have a maximum number of pixels that have been allotted for that image, and then so once you go too large, that's when you start to get the pixelation, stuff like that.
It's all blurry.
It gets blurry.
Pixel, yes.
And it doesn't look clean, after you get a certain size. But you can have really high-res images that look clean on, because you have images on billboards and stuff there.
Because the pixel density is just tight.
Right.
So as far as like when going back to the whole vector thing, the vectors are, and it's not just Adobe. A lot of programs do the vector based graphics and stuff. But each of those points that you were talking about, what it is just a mathematical line, but that connects each of them, in which that your algorithm that you're saying is what. It basically everything's percentage, and it scales up and down. When it goes to the web, you're talking about like SVGs, scalable vector graphics.
Yeah.
So that graphic keeps that smooth, crisp line because it's all equations and math.
Was that what that means? I didn't know that's what that meant.
Yeah. And so
cool.
And so each one of those, if you look at SVG code, it's actually, it's so scary to look at, but it's really not that scary once you kind of understand that each point is actually just an equation that is connecting the two. And so it's in the web, you should always be trying to use a SVG when you can at any point in time.
Yeah. So then the next part of that are the different file types, right? So now, one thing I will say is, a lot of times we'll ask for, okay, we need a vector version of it. Like, what file format? And they're like, we'll say, an AI or Adobe Illustrator or an EPS. And but the funny thing about it is, a lot of times we get all kinds of the file types are right. So AI. But basically what they did was they resaved a JPEG as an AI file. So now you have a masked image inside of an AI file. That doesn't magically make it. It doesn't magically make it a vector, just because of the file type. It actually has to be something that is drawn in those particular programs and then saved as that file type in order for it to be a vector.
Yeah.
But it's so funny. A lot of people don't realize that. They say, "Oh, well, it's a PDF." That doesn't mean it's vector.
Yeah.
And really, you could just, and and a lot of people in like small like offices that don't really use design programs like Illustrator, Sketch, any of those. They don't understand because they're using Microsoft Word. They're like, oh, okay, let me just throw this in there but I mean they just don't understand. So usually, if those guys can just send a PDF out of it, of course it's I don't learn how to do it. But I mean the how you can check if it's a pixel versus vector is just blow it up.
Yeah, as big as you can. Yeah.
I always like to think of pixel like pixels versus vector. If you obviously like we know what vectors are, but when you're looking at pixels, I always think about like like TVs, like old TVs, like pixels. Each little dot is how it shows your TV picture. You know, so. If you have a fuzzy picture, it's pixelated because each is a little square of color and showing an image.
You know what I didn't realize? I mean, I figured it out after we ended up doing it, but at first I didn't realize, these big billboards, these digital billboards, they're all 72 dpi.
Yeah, they just have the large dots.
Yeah, well, it's
crazy.
And it's because
I had to submit one before.
It's because it's screen. You can upload a billboard at 920 by 1080, which is your normal TV screen.
Yeah.
And you can throw it up on a freaking big ass billboard.
I had to decrease the size of all of my work in order to put it up on a freaking billboard like that. I was like, what?
Exporting at 72? Really? I was like, okay.
Really what I want to do?
So if for you guys that don't know, 72 versus 300 versus 150 DPI, which is dots per inch, which is however many dots per inch. Well, that doesn't make any sense. However many dots you see
within an inch
within a specific area. So usually on your phones, on your screens, anything digital that you're looking at is most likely going to be 72. Now, with Mac, what they've done is fantastic. Is you all have y'all's Retina screens. Your iPhones are Retina screens, and that's at double pixel density.
150.
So you're at about 150. Mm-hmm. So that's how you get the super crisp lines that you're seeing on your iPhones or your iMac Pros and those type of things. And so, but when you go to print a document, print your resume, print a meme from Google, you better be printing at 300 DPI, 300 dots per inch, because like
it's going to be pixelated.
Printers need more pixels to print out to have that clear picture.
Well, you know that now so 300 is considered HD, right? That's so, like, for instance, you're talking about like 1080 is considered HD. Now they have 4K.
Yeah.
Well, and 4K is actually higher than the human eye can even.
Yeah. So it's kind of pointless.
It really is. Well, yeah, it is really rather pointless, but it looks awesome. But they have they print 600 now. So,
yes, yeah. I have seen printers that not going to get them at Walmart.
No,
yeah.
No,
Walmart, they degrade all their products. Like even by brand.
Maybe.
So you can look up the same thing. Say you want a Samsung TV, and
we lost a view. We lost a view.
So say you want a Samsung TV, it has the same name, but then they instead of coming out 1080, you have to look at all the specs. Like, oh, that's cheap.
What? 600 DPI printer for $55? BS.
Inkjet.
Laser printers?
It's inkjet. Well, that one's inkjet.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude. I can tell you how many times I've actually bought a whole new printer because the ink is more expensive than the printer.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Apparently, you can get 600 DPI at Walmart.
Oh,
I stand corrected.
Well, that's Amazon.
Yeah.
They probably have Walmart.
I mean, if it's that cheap.
Well,
yeah.
you probably could online because.
Amazon Prime, just do that.
What do you guys think about the whole like?
Shit.
It really irritates me. Like Best Buy's doing it, even Target's doing it now. Walmart's doing it, where they're selling other people's stuff.
Yeah.
What kind of stuff?
I hate it.
I haven't seen that yet.
What do you mean?
Well,
Kind of like Amazon does, sold by.
Go to Walmart.com. Yeah, exactly like that.
Well, they're just trying to keep up because everyone's going to buy their
Yeah.
stuff online now. They
I
might
guess
as
so.
well.
Search printers.
When was the last time you
Keep
went to
up with
Walmart.com?
Oh, keep
The
up
other
or
day.
get left behind.
Really?
Yeah. I was looking for, well, anytime, I always look for the best price on anything.
Like,
so.
look, there's a, for 20 bucks. Oh, maybe this is probably not the same one.
Yeah, so a lot of it tells you,
Oh my God. Okay, we might be off. Look at this shit. That's not.
well, that's the
That's my
ratio.
view. Yeah, that's my opinion.
Yeah.
Ratio. Resolution. Interesting.
All right.
Yeah, but see, some of these are not, like you can't pick up at the store, they're online only.
No.
And they don't roll them back either.
Yeah, and so basically they're being sold by somebody else. And they're fulfilling through Walmart. Like it's Walmart gets a piece of it.
Distributors.
Yeah, so it's just like Amazon. They basically have turned into Amazon.
Well, yeah.
And it's really annoying because a lot of times they stop selling stuff through Walmart because they'll do it online.
Because think about it, because it's a lot easier for them to have a warehouse and not a storefront. So if all their product, they have a big warehouse and they don't want you walking through there, it's so much easier.
Oh, I think
I
think it gets fulfilled by the individual vendors, and they get an order and then they send it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. I dislike it.
We should link this on the description.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, save it.
We're gonna put some stuff in the description, guys. That
We'll just have to-
I need to
if
update all
you
this.
if you need some visuals, this is some really great.
All right. You want to go to the next? Do you have your words?
Yeah. So, see, POP. I didn't know what that was for a little while.
Point of purchase?
Yeah. So, point of purchase. Basically, whenever you go up to the cash register, where all that gum is that they get you to buy and stuff, it's right whenever you're about to hand over your card. Point of purchase. POP. ROI.
Yeah, ROI, return on investment. That one is super important, especially in the marketing realm. You have to be 100% return on investment.
Mm-hmm.
So as far as how you're actually, because you have to calculate it, because nobody wants to spend money on advertising, but they have to. So, but they're going to force you to do things that have the best return on investment.
Mm-hmm.
So, digital marketing, stuff like that. You can look at not every business works perfectly as far as it's not like a linear return on investment. So, when you have products that are very large, where you have a very limited clientele, your ROI is not super easy to calculate. So, like for instance, when I worked at ThyssenKrupp, you can't do a traditional ROI curve off of your digital marketing and like emails and all that kind of stuff, because it's not one project can be $100,000.
Yeah.
So it's not a traditional, and you might only sell one, even though you spent a lot of money on it. So your ROI is always going to be skewed in a badly when you're dealing with something like that.
Because it's a test basically for the most part. You have your margins where you want to hit, but it's trial and error for marketing for the most part.
Much easier to calculate in a very consumer, like you have a
Driven
product.
business, yeah.
Yeah, you can calculate the ROI on if you're selling a particular shoe and you do a marketing campaign for that particular shoe.
Okay, yeah.
It's very easy to draw those straight lines for whether that ad campaign worked or not. So, but then we're also talking about ROI. One of the things that is really important to just kind of be thinking about is, how your skills. So when you go into a job, whether it's marketing or not, you really should be looking, because they're looking at you this way. When you go into interview for a job, they're looking at you as, okay, am I going to get my return on investment?
Mm-hmm. Is he worth the money that he's going to put out? Yeah.
Yeah. So if I'm going to invest this much money, am I going to get that much back? And some, is it going to be a good investment? So once you get into a job, that does not mean you stop. That does not mean, okay, I no longer have to develop.
Got this, time to kick back.
Nope.
You have to. That's essentially.
That's when the real work starts.
That's essentially what the Click Yak Boom experiment is, we want to develop our skills. So here we are. We're kind of putting ourselves out there. We've never done anything like this before.
Hard skills and soft skills, which are very, very important.
Yeah.
Very important, both of them. And
how about moving to that, hard skills and soft skills?
Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
What's the difference?
Difference? Hard skills versus soft
the difference? Yeah.
Hard skills are more of just like your technical stuff. Like I'm doing this. Your soft skills are more like your communication, how you can work with the team, your
being able to talk,
your coachability, your
and
mindset
it's hard to hone those too. Once you get into a position, you're just kind of stuck there. It's hard to find a way to improve them. Yeah. So like you said, that's what we're sitting here trying to.
Well, the best way I would say to kind of improve if you want your work life to kind of be on point, you really want to improve your soft skills.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're dealing with people, the best way to get people to do something above and beyond is to make them. I mean, you want to care, but make them believe that you care, right? So you invest time with them, getting to know them, likes and dislikes. You just also have to be very careful about how you say things, delivery. When I worked for Wells Fargo a long time ago, we went through this whole customer service training about how you say things to people, because it really is. It's not exactly
my pleasure.
It's not exactly manipulation, but it actually really does work. So, and I don't know, you probably notice it now whenever if dealing with you guys, but whenever you ask somebody to do something, opportunity is not really like I haven't had a chance. Mm-hmm. So I haven't had a chance to do it. That's really kind of a negative word. Mm-hmm. It implies that you're frustrated.
It's not a priority.
Yeah. So you say I just haven't had the opportunity.
There's a good one is one of the guys that we just had a meeting with. He said, "Nice to see you." So you meet a lot of people, and nice to see you is across the board. So if you've seen them before or never met them, then it's okay. You can't always say nice to meet you because maybe you already met them. They're like, we met freaking 3 years ago.
Yeah,
how do you not remember me?
Mm-hmm.
So nice to see you. Mm-hmm. It's a good one whenever you're leaving someone or meeting up with someone.
Yeah.
Hard skills, soft skills, very, very, very important. You always be trying to refine your hard skills because those are the more usually the tougher of the two, depending on who you are.
The one thing that I've certainly learned here at Force is as far as working on my soft skills is I have to. Sometimes it sounds like I'm really like I need some more RAM because I'm sitting there thinking like, okay, how do I word this?
You do pause sometimes.
Well, because I'm rewording what I'm saying because my natural instinct, because you know how I am. I'm very. A lot of times I can be very.
Yeah, it's like, well, how do I say this without ticking everyone out there? Yeah.
And I have to be really careful because my intent is obviously not to be a dick. I like people. I want people to like me. I don't want people not to like me. But it's like how do we get the direction, at least somewhat the direction that I think it should go, without offending people or at least just trying to get them on board. And a lot of it is just if you just change how you say things. So like if you're going to ask somebody to do something, instead of saying, "Hey, can you do that for me?" Mm-hmm. You say, "Hey, would you be willing to do that for me?" Yeah. And it's a subconscious. Obviously, especially if you're in charge of them, they don't have a choice. But if you say, "Hey, would you be willing?" It gives them about it. It makes them feel like they have a choice.
Like, okay.
Yeah, and it's a subtle way to show respect, mm-hmm. even though it's kind of a command. You know what I mean?
Whenever people say, so whenever someone says thank you, no problem, that implies that there was a problem, but you said you forget that problem. Yeah, there's a potential problem. So that was always funny.
Right.
Whenever someone says no problem, it's like, oh, they were so nice of them not to make it a problem.
Yeah. I know what you mean. Sure.
What else we have? Orphans and widows.
This one, I was using them interchangeably, and I didn't realize that I was wrong.
Yeah.
And when we were talking about it, you want to go ahead and...
Oh, well, so the easiest way to remember orphans and widows is that orphans have no past and widows have no future. So orphans are words sitting there by themselves, and they have words after them, while a widow is sitting there on a line by itself, and it doesn't have any words after it. That makes sense.
So orphans at the beginning, widows at the end.
Correct. But they're just on the line by themselves. They're just sitting there hanging out.
The orphan was the so you have a paragraph and you only have one word on that last line. Is that not a...
No. Orphans are the first one.
Orphans are words.
Yeah, words.
Right? And it's a word at the end of the paragraph. So that's an orphan. The word all there is an orphan.
An orphan, I thought that was a widow.
No. Widow
then
is a widow is a sentence. So, like for instance, if you're doing a magazine,
okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
A magazine design, and you have one sentence, and there's no connection to
Style dash.
Yeah.
This style is fucking awesome. But
And it goes to the next page,
awesome was flipped down to the bottom and just sitting there.
Right.
Orphans as okay. I see
So
what you're saying.
orphan is...
Oh well, let's make sure we cut that shit out.
Yeah, it's and I didn't realize that because I used to call the orphans widows and just get them mixed up.
I guess I did it, too.
Now let's talk about rags. We deal with that quite a bit because we have long amenities and short amenities, and it freaking drives me nuts. What's your opinion on rags?
Michael, I deal with mostly signage right now.
Yeah.
And I'm not really dealing with a whole lot of text or typography, so
Rags
or any kind of paragraphing. So
Well, you can't always center it.
Okay, so a rough rag would be, it's like you have like big, and then you have a short, like 2-word.
It's like
amenity, and then you have another long one, and you have a short one. So your end of your paragraph looks like, a really rough,
what's an
jagged
example?
thing.
Like marble countertops, blah blah blah, and then right after that it says pool.
Yeah.
Or spa.
Yeah, and so it makes a harsh jump when now this one's talking about paragraph. So sometimes you can't help it by messing with the kerning on it, but
and it's you don't want to do that either too much because
it can get wonky. Because of what if you really try to pump the kerning on
like
one
a soft
sentence.
inner.
Yeah.
reminds me of like remember like the newspapers where you'll have like the very
Justified.
Exactly justified block of text, but then you're reading it, and then you see like the one word that's like educated, and it's like
just stretch all the way out.
It's like they're probably trying to avoid rags, but
I think all of them have a rag, but some are cleaner than others. I absolutely like it to be cleaner, which is why I like the paragraph amenities as opposed to trying to list them out.
Yeah, because that becomes a beast.
It really does. Nobody's really reading them anyways.
You read the first 3 and you're like, yeah, what else do you have?
Or I'm already here. Why don't you show me the amenities?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or if you're online, you're going to see it a whole nother way.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's like either the property is nice or it's not.
Yeah.
Or you're looking for that one amenity rather than you want to see the 20.
I'll make it clear. I like clean rags, or somewhat even.
Clean rags.
I do not like rough.
All right, everybody. Well, thanks for joining us. We'll see you soon. Follow us down below. Like if you like it. Don't dislike it if you dislike it, though. we won't like that.
No,
so, Click Yak Boom. Follow us on IG. And see you soon.
Appreciate it.